Okay, guys, this is my prediction for UFC 148. It's Anderson Silva versus Sonnen, their second fight here. Let me first by saying that, as you see, I got the butterfly bandage on my nose here, just as training, and end up getting caught with the elbow and split straight down the bridge of my nose. So waiting for that to heal up before I can actually get back into training and, do what I normally do and get ready for some competitions and some stuff that's going on later this year. But don't want to get punched in the face and have stuff split back open once it's already healed and whatnot. But enough of that. Let's first start off with saying that, this card here should definitely make up for the last two cards that the UFC has put on. This card has some really exciting fights on it. Obviously, the big main event is the most exciting, but all throughout, it has some really good matchups. So let's first start off with Ivan Minjarv versus Mike Easton. Well, Minjarv has pretty much, he's on a 3-fight win streak. Easton is on a 1-fight win streak. Both of these guys are pretty well-rounded fighters. I just see in this instance Mike Easton not being able to keep up with Minjarv's pace. Mike Easton seems to always want to attack early in the bouts, and he just blows his wad all right then and there, rather than kind of pacing himself through the match. And I don't see that he just can keep up with Minjarv's pace for 15 minutes. I think he's going to tire out. I think that he's going to end up tiring out and getting caught with a blow that knocks him down, and then I think Minjarv is going to go on the ground and submit him. So I think I have Ivan Minjarv winning this match by submission in the third round. So let's go to the next match we have here, Chad Mendez versus Cote McKenzie. Everybody knows Cote McKenzie. He loves doing the guillotine. He does. You know what he's going for, but he ends up always catching you with that guillotine still. He kind of does. It's an inverted choke. Like you basically come up on it like this, so it makes it a stronger choke. Most people don't expect it. It's just an innovation in a guillotine choke that has really made his career for him, and he finishes a lot of people with it, even though they know that's his specialty. Then you have Chad Mendez, who he had this loss against Aldo, that crushing. I think it was either he got caught with it was either a knee or elbow, one of those two, and got finished off there. We all know he's a smaller guy, big stocky guy, definitely a wrestler, drop you on your head and pound you on the ground type of person, a fighter. In this fight, I see that's what he's going to do to Cote McKenzie. I'm pretty sure these guys, Chad Mendez, just worked over and over and over again to make sure he doesn't get caught in a guillotine. And because it's perfect for Cote McKenzie to go against somebody who's going to go for a double leg and drop you down and he catch you in the guillotine. But just wrestlers in general, they like to tuck and then grab you and drop you, and that's like the perfect combination to do a guillotine. But so long, Chad Mendez goes in there and he's very aware of it all the time. Not so much to where it will throw him off of his game, but enough to keep him out of it. Enough to drop him on his head and then quickly jump to the side position and do what you do best and grind somebody out, drop elbows, drop fists, make him not think of doing the guillotine on you while you're punching him in the face. That'll really disrupt everything. And I believe that's what he's going to do. I think it's going to be a grinding match. He's going to grind out Cote McKenzie in the second round. And he's going to finish him ground and pound. Then you have the next match, which is Dong Him Kim versus Damian Maia. Kim, especially recently, has been showing a lot of versatility when it comes to his striking. He's always used his judo to get individuals to the ground and do what he has to do. He has had some issues with pace and his cardio. We all know Damian Maia is a submission artist, a very, very good Brazilian jiu-jitsu practitioner. And in this match, it's going to go to the ground eventually because Kim is going to use his judo to get the guy on the ground. And then Damian Maia is going to use his jiu-jitsu to, combat or to submit, try to submit Kim. But the way that it goes into the ground is where it's going to be key, I believe, in this. If it's a go to the ground, I've just beat you up all for 2 rounds, and then I'm going to do a judo sweep and then knock you on your back and then try to finish you that way. I see it going in Kim's fashion, but if it's at the beginning of the match and, he tries to do a clinch and then Damian Maia jumps into guard and then basically does what he does best and goes into jiu-jitsu mode here, it's going to go with Damian Maia's way. But the way that I think it's going to happen in my prediction here is I believe that Kim is going to be able to shun away Damian Maia's advances to try to take it to the ground. Damian Maia has been trying to prove himself as a striker by using his hands to become a better boxer. But in this aspect, he's going to lose when it comes to the striking ability. So I feel that he's going to try to take it to the ground where he is the expert there. But Kim is going to stop those advances and punish him for trying to make those advances. And on the way of punishing him, he's going to take him onto the ground. And he's not going to stay in a position to get submitted. He's going to be in a position of dropping bombs on him. And that's what he's going to do. Drop bombs on him, elbows and fists. So I see Kim winning this one by TKO, 3rd round. Now we have Patrick Cote versus Chunli. Chunli hasn't been really doing so well in the UFC. Patrick Cote, as you know, his striking ability, he's been trying to really, really work on that. He, quote unquote, some people may say that he gave Anderson Silva a run for his money by actually pursuing Anderson Silva and frustrating Anderson Silva in the striking department. Being able to absorb hits, but then lay out a big punishment too. In that Anderson Silva fight, I can say that he did land some blows on Anderson that I believe wobbled Anderson. He does have heavy hands. Chunli, on the other hand, is a kick master. He basically uses a taekwondo type of skill set to pretty much land all these crazy type of kicks. And that is his skill set, taekwondo, kickboxing. So he goes out there and does these things, these like Van Damme kicks and stuff like that, the Chuck Norris kicks, roundhouse kicks, stuff like that you only would think that you can perform in the movies and not in a MMA match. But he goes out there and does it. But he was able to do those type of kicks in a lower, going against lower level opponents in Strikeforce. Scott Smith, which is a slow slugger type of guy. And then he did it with some other people too, Frank Shamrock and stuff like that, where he just dominate guys and kick them to death and break their arms, break their legs, shatter their ribs, stuff like that. But he hasn't been able to do that in the UFC. He's been really punished for trying to make those kicks. He tries to perform all these taekwondo kicks, these crazy angles and stuff with kicks. Now he does land some of them, but the problem is that when he lands it, he gets punished, and that's what happened when he went against Vanderlei. He would go in and do the kicks, and then Vanderlei would jump in and soak up the kick, but then land a big shot in the face, and Rich really just destroyed his face in that match, and his nose was caved in. If you haven't seen the pictures, he just just got destroyed in that match as far as damage-wise on his face. And I think Patrick Cote is going to do the same thing. Patrick Cote is a much slower pace striker. He's not like a Wanderlei Silva where he just turns it on and attacks you. He's more of a slow slugger, like a Scott Smith type of thing. His boxing and stuff is very fundamental type stuff. So in this aspect, it may work for Chunli, but I still see him getting intimidated by being on the big stage here. I see him getting caught by multiple shots by Patrick Cote. I believe Patrick Cote has fought against higher skilled opponents than Chunli. And if this was a kickboxing match, yes, Chunli would win. But this is an MMA match, and I don't see him winning this match because I just feel he's going to get caught up in the kicking. And he really just needs to be a little bit more versatile. Throw in punches with the kicks. Maybe try to do some submissions. Learn how to stop takedown submissions and do some more wrestling. It's great to have a niche, but we all know in mixed martial arts you cannot have one skill set. You may be able to get by with that 1 or 2 matches, but someone's going to catch on and be just as good as you in that skill set, but have other skill sets also. So I got Patrick Cote winning this one by unanimous decision. And then we have our next match, which is Forrest Griffin versus Tito. This is their third match, a rubber match here. Tito won the first one. Forrest Griffin won the second one. This is Tito's last match. Forrest Griffin hasn't really been active in MMA really that much. He's been doing books and all other type of stuff. I just see in this match, both of these guys, I think Tito really wants it. Forrest really is just doing it. But I just don't, Tito, I believe, is just a broken fighter. He can catch individuals. He can, anything can happen in MMA. This is his last fight. Do I think he's just going to bring it? Yes and no, but I just think that he has a lot of injuries, a lot of things going on with his body that makes him not the fighter that he used to be. I want to see Tito win, and he win, and then he get to leave on a high note and whatnot. But I just don't really see that happening in this fight. I see that. I understand this fight is probably going to be a bang and just stand up and bang, unless you can take the most punishment type of fight. We both know that Forrest can take the punishment, but I don't see Tito taking the punishment. I see Tito taking a couple of shots, but then getting hit with a couple more shots and then going down on the ground and being punched out. We all know that at this, sometimes Tito has a issue with the older he's got, he's had an issue with cardio. Some people may argue with me on that and say no, he doesn't have an issue with cardio. But I feel like this last fights, he's had some issues with cardio, and the longer the fight goes on, the more tired he gets. Like, especially if you've seen that fight where he had against Hamill, how he just was just so tired. Both of the guys were tired, but he was really tired. But you would think the higher elevation would give him what he needs. But I guess at a certain age and at this level of fighting, sometimes the tricks that you were able to do at a young age don't necessarily pay out at an older age. But like that being said, I think Forrest is going to come in here and lay the hands on him and catch him with some big shots and finish him off and send him on his way into the Hall of Fame. Unfortunately, so I think that's going to happen probably in the third round. Third round, Forrest wins this one by TKO. You know what? I take that back. I don't think that he's going to. It's either going to be a TKO or a unanimous decision, but I believe that. I take that back. I think it's going to be a unanimous decision. I think these guys are going to be. I don't think Forrest is going to be able to finish him, only for the simple fact that I believe Tito is going to, say, hey, this is my last fight. I'll take the punishment for my last fight, and I won't go out getting TKO'd. So I'm gonna give Tito the benefit of the doubt here and say it's gonna be a unanimous decision. Okay, so now we have the main event, which is Anderson Silva versus Sonnen. Shell has been talking a bunch of, crap here and there and blah, blah, blah. And, of course, Anderson normally takes it. But this time he hasn't took it. He said that, he's going to send Shell out in a stretcher. He's going to break every bone in his body. And it's very uncharacteristic of Anderson Silva to speak that way, because he normally doesn't. So my view is that he's extremely pissed by the way that Shell Sonnen has been talking about his family, his wife, and his country. I think Shell says stuff. I mean, it's funny when you listen to it. If you watch the UFC Primetime, where he said he's going to basically ask Anderson Silva's wife to go cook him a steak, medium rare, just the way he likes it. He's going to hit her in the ass and tell her to do that. Like, that's very disrespectful. So I think this fight is not going to be like the first fight. And here's why. Because the first fight, they basically, went back and forth and whatnot, but it was pretty dominant by Shell, for the simple fact that Anderson was a little sick and he had a virus and all that other stuff. But that's not even the issue. The issue is that I saw that fight that he had with Bisbee. And when I saw he had that fight with Bisbee, I was like, wow, if Bisbee can make it difficult for Shell Sonnen, then I know Anderson can. A healthy Anderson can. And I don't think it's the same Shell that we saw when he fought him the first time. It's a little watered down version, and I think that he's not going to be able to do what he did the first time. He's not going to be able to control and take down the fight. He's not going to be able to ground and pound and Anderson Silva not do anything. Anderson Silva is going to move away, parry him, catch him in the face. He's going to make him pay for every shot that he's going to take. Every shot he's going to make him take. He's going to make him pay for it. This is not going to be the same fight, guys. It's going to be totally different. Totally different. And not only top of that, but Anderson is angry. Who wants to fight an angry Anderson? You know what I mean? He has something to prove in this one. He wants to show his countrymen that he's going to make this guy pay for saying what he says about his country. You will not talk about Brazilians that way. You will not talk about my family that way. You will not talk about my wife that way or me that way. I'm going to crush you. And anybody who wants to do the same thing Shell Sonnen does, this is what you have in store. So Anderson Silva wins this one by TKO. Third round, he's going to break his will. He's going to finish him off with knees in the clinch, and he's going to make him collapse. That's all I got to say about that, guys. So if you like my reviews, please, as normal, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll do my review on UFC 148 after it airs. So once again, guys, thanks for viewing this video. Peace.